What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 1, Episode 15. Um, so we start this episode off. They're back from the cabin trip, and Marcel decides to go visit the Holtz. Now, Martell is not there, but Melody is, and she said, well, let's have a conversation. What you want to talk about? Now, on the surface, it seems as though Marcel wanted to have a conversation with Melody in reference to what can we do to come to some sort of truce? This is really getting to Latisha. I want to, let's just come to a truce here. Let's just kind of come to a truce. But a couple of times, Marcel, you seem to get a little tongue-tied when in the conversation when Melody sort of threw some things at you about insinuating your infidelity. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't know, Marcel. I don't know, Marcel. But I also feel like, once again, Melody, I think what you're asking of Martell's friends is a little bit much. Because, once again, you seem to be insinuating that his friends are condoning, supporting, excusing his bad behavior. And what Marcel was telling you is, no, we weren't. We did speak to Martell. We did let Martell know. He said, no, we didn't blast it. Because what it sounds to me is we had a lot of conversations with Martell behind closed doors that we didn't necessarily put on camera, but conversations were being had. So then Melody lets him know that, well, the woman is still calling, things are still going on, and of course, Marcel is like, oh, come on, man, like, for real? Like, dog, no. You know what I mean? Like, he was really like, come on, Martell. But Melody's thing is, once again, Melody maintains that Marcel was doing what he does, and she feels like the reason why Martell was doing what he did is because he was hanging around people who did it. And, again, I just feel like you are deflecting your anger and you are blaming other people. Your husband is a grown man, and I don't care if everybody around him was cheating on their wife. If he didn't want to cheat on his wife, he didn't need to cheat on his wife. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Marcel is or is not doing, but blaming Marcel's behavior or alleged bad behavior on your situation, I don't know. I think that's a stretch, Miss Melody. I think that's a stretch. But anyway, later on in the episode, we see that Melody and Martell go to the doctor. They confirm what we already knew was that she's pregnant. I'm not entertaining that. Kimmy's son is home. He is home for the summer. He's turning 21. And Kimmy talks to him about, because she said, for a long time it was just the two of us. And, I still miss him. I get, empty nest when he's not there. And you can definitely tell that they had a good, or have a good relationship, a very good relationship. And he asks her, about the cabin trip and everything. And so she tells him about the situation with Monster and, that whole bringing the mother down, the ex-wife and everything. And he's like, yeah, nah, that ain't cool. Like, nah, I'm not feeling that. And, Kimmy's honest with him about how she feels about the situation and kind of where she stands with the whole situation. But then we found out it's his 21st birthday, and she's like, look, do we want to, what we going to do? We going to party? What we going to do you going to turn up for your 21st? And he was like, I'm going to turn up, but I'm not turning up with you. Like, he wants to hang out with the boys. He wants to do a boys' night out. And so Marceau and Maurice are taking him out for his 21st. And we'll get to that later on with that. But we find out that he's working that summer with Marceau. And Marceau is going to actually help him get, put some things in place, put some plans in place. And if you didn't see any of their wedding pictures online, you know that her son is an Omega, and so is Marceau. And so they're frat brothers, and so that might be a little bit of where their bond comes in with that, and we'll see more of that when we get to his party and so forth. Anyway, so then we get to, like I said, I'm not only thing I'm gonna say about the whole pregnancy piece is that Martell wants to raise he wants to be one unit. He wants to raise his children, all of his children together in the same house. And Melody is like, yeah, that might not be how I decide to do this. That might not be my decision, I'm not sure yet, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But me having a child may or may not make me do something different, Anyway, we know that whole story is so anticlimactic because we already know where we are with that. They all over social media, lovey-dovey, hand in hand. So this whole conversation about what Melody's gonna do is just mute to me right now. So neither here nor there. Latisha and her mom is still there, and they have a good moment. And basically, Latisha is taking speech therapy. Latisha grew up in a home, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful or rude in any way, so please don't take it that way what I'm saying. But she grew up in a home where there was limited education. And also they were very country, meaning they had very thick country southern accents. That's what I mean by that. And Latisha said that she grew up speaking broken English because, she was in a home with her grandmother who, didn't always speak the best, completed sentences and all of that. And she said her mom was the same way. And she was very respectful in how she was saying it. And she even said, I'm okay with it because I grew up how I grew up. She said, however, when I went to school, I was made fun of because of my accent or because I said the way I said certain words and certain things. And we heard it even in her mother's conversation. You hear certain things that her mother, certain ways her mother said certain things. And so she's taking speech classes because she said that was something that she allowed to take her voice from her because she wouldn't raise her hand in class and she wouldn't speak out and she didn't want to be in front of people and, she would sit back and sort of cower. And so she's taking these speech therapy classes to sort of take her voice back. And I thought that was pretty, I can respect that. I definitely can respect that. And you can see that it bothered her a little bit. She had a little moment. And they got to having a conversation. Her mom, definitely opened up about that. Definitely opened up. Definitely opened up about that. And her experiences, she was a teenage mother and they sort of had their moment or what have you. But then her mom said to her, she said, I understand you wanting to do this and I understand that. She said, and she said the same thing I said a couple of weeks ago. She said, but it's like you keep adding to your things to do. You keep adding and adding and adding to what it is you have going on, and we already know Marcel ain't crazy about her working and everything. And then you keep adding to that. So Marcel comes out. He said he was trying to take a nap, and they were loud, and they woke him up, and they were bothering him. He said, I got the kids over top of me, jumping up and down. I got y'all out here arguing. And they were like, we weren't arguing, but they were probably just talking loud, And so the mother kind of jumped on Marcel about, well, they your kids too. If they making too much noise, you can go up there and tell them to sit down. And Marcel was like, yeah, no. And then Marcel was like, what? Why? I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but why are you here? Why are you still in my house? Why are you still here? And then she went on to start talking to Marcel. Well, what do you think the difference between a daddy and a father is? And you need to be more hands-on and you need to do more with the kids. And Marcel was just like, when you leaving? So you definitely see that she has sort of overstayed her welcome a little bit. But, Marcel wasn't really all that crazy about her being there to begin with. And definitely with her being very vocal. And I think she brought up the 20 girlfriends again, honey. Either she brought it up or it was in a preview. I don't want to put words in her mouth. But I know at some point she brings it up. But it might not have been this conversation. But anyway, that's why I try not to look at the previews because I get stuff mixed up. But anyway. Then we see Melody have a conversation with her mom. She tells her mom she's pregnant. And, her mom wants her to work things out with Martell. So her mother is grinning, honey. Her mama is happy to hear it. And, Melody said, look, it's complicated because, I'm just not sure if this is what I want. And I want to stay with Martell. And then with possibly adding a baby to the mix, that just complicates things even more. And her mother went on to tell her about when she got pregnant, how it wasn't convenient. She was young, she was in college, she wasn't married, and how her first instinct was to have an abortion. And she said, I had the money and everything. She said, but I just I couldn't go through with it. And I decided, I don't care what people think. I don't care how my family feels that I disappointed them. I don't care people's opinion. I could not I could not let you go. She said, so, I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe it's not always the most ideal situation or the most perfect situation, but that's not, that should not have any bearing on the decision about the child. Now, and I understood what she was saying, because I don't think she was saying that Melody was thinking about having an abortion. I don't think that was ever a thought for Melody. But what she was saying was, things aren't always the perfect situation, but you figure it out. But again, we know that she doesn't really want to see the marriage over. Now, at least that's how I feel. That's the impression I got. Because she was happy when she found out Melody was pregnant, honey. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Alright, so the showdown we've been sort of waiting for, I guess. A little bit, I guess. We see Kimmy meet up with Maurice and with the ex-wife. Now, I must agree with Miss Kimmy on this one. This whole moment was sort of anticlimactic because she don't remember saying nothing. She don't remember saying anything. She don't remember nothing that was said. And even when Kimmy gives her specific conversations, you said this, I said that, we were sitting here, it was this, it was that. She's like, that was a long time ago. So Kimmy said, the first thing she said was, well, me and Kimmy don't have a relationship. And Kimmy was like, exactly. Like, that's part of the problem. We don't have a relationship. And then Kimmy said, well, you've reached out to me on Facebook and basically told me that I didn't need to be a part of your child's life. Don't say nothing to your child or anything I have. I need to go through you and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I don't remember saying that. Kimmy was like, but you said it on Facebook. Well, when did I say that? Kimmy said like 6 years ago when we first started dating. She said, well, you have to understand a lot was going on back then. Because, there was overlap from the time when you guys dated. We were still divorced. Kimmy said, look, let me tell you what I'm not getting ready to do. I'm not getting ready to play games with you. I'm not playing semantics with you. She said, me and Maurice, when we met, we were friends. And when we started dating, y'all were divorced. When we met, y'all were still married. Yes, absolutely. Y'all weren't together, but you were still legally married. But when we started dating, you all were divorced. We're not going to play games. And so it was sort of kind of like, she was just like, didn't have nothing to say then. Because, Kimmy had sort of just burst her little bubble with that one. Then another thing came up where she called Kimmy some names because they were on vacation. I guess Kimmy had on a thong bikini, honey. And, Maurice was like, well, just because, she proud of her body. And if she want to wear a bikini, she can wear a bikini. And, Monster's mother was like, but a thong? I just think that was inappropriate that mothers wear thongs. And Kimmy said, that's fine. You are entitled to your opinion. But you called me some other names that were not okay. Because she called her thought and some other stuff. And so every time Kimmy tried to talk to her about something that was bothering her, her response was, well, I don't remember saying that. Or, he was saying things, I was saying things. It was just an argument. And so I don't know if anything was really resolved as far as Kimmy and the ex-wife are concerned. But the conversation is that Monster, that she's going to, that she's thinking about moving down, but it's contingent on her finding a job and some other things. She said, I'm not going to move down here without having a job and stuff. But it's contingent upon her having a job. And so, it sounds like Maurice is going to get what he wants. But I just don't think this situation is resolved. That's just, I just don't think it's resolved. I don't know. I ain't really getting a whole lot of satisfaction from it. And I don't mean it from a gossipy kind of way. Like, I don't mean it like, I ain't getting no satisfaction from that conversation. I just mean it from the point of view of, I don't think anything was really resolved. I think that she's bitter. I think she does feel like they were dating before the marriage was over, or that marriage was dissolved, excuse me. And I think she has a problem with Kimmy. And I think she has a problem with Kimmy around her son. But she wouldn't say anything. She didn't express herself. She didn't let it be clear. So it's going to be what it's going to be, I guess. So we at the party, honey. We at the party. And Baby boy is at the party celebrating 21st. He got his little line brothers with him, honey. They getting it in. They marching through. They doing their cute thing. They even get Marceau to do a little bit with him. And like Maurice said, he said Marceau doing the old man cute step. He leaving the heavy hitting, the heavy hopping to the young brothers, and Marceau doing a little easy little shimmy. No, that's not. Oh Lord, I was going to say shimmy. I ain't mean to say shimmy. Lord, don't let me say shimmy. But doing a little easy stuff. But it was cute. It was cute to see Marceau do a little hop. It was cute to see Marceau do a little steppy step. It was cute. But then they went on to have a conversation. Maurice gave a toast and everything, and Maurice had a conversation with the son, and the son misunderstood because he wasn't happy about the whole situation with Monster's mom coming down. But he didn't understand that she was remarried and that her and the husband was coming. He was like, oh, okay, then I'm cool with this. He said, because what I thought was you was trying to bring your ex-wife down here so you could have both your families here. And I wasn't feeling that. But once he understood what Maurice was trying to do, he was cool with it. He sort of gave his blessing. Now, I don't know if Kimmy going to be happy with that. But once he understood that whole situation, he gave his blessing. He was cool. So then Maurice was saying how they had the whole conversation with Kimmy and the mom and everything. And he was telling them how the conversation went. And the guys are still focusing on who paying for stuff. And did you fly her down? How did she get down here? You paid for her ticket to come down? That's really not what's most important, I guess. The resolution between her and Kimmy, I guess, is what's more important. And whether Monster is coming down or not. Excuse me. So I think that's to be determined. I don't think we quite resolved on that whole situation yet. But Maurice, I just hope you're not opening up a can of worms. That's all I'm going to say about that. I understand your reasoning. I understand why you want this to happen, but I just hope you're not opening up a whole can of worms. So anyway, they clowning Martell about his bedtime and all that other stuff, and what time he got to be in and all that other stuff. And then we got some, we see Martell, talking to some females at the bar, and Martell, and Marcel was just like, Lord, here we go. We don't want a replay of what happened in Miami at the bachelor party, but I look up, and there he is at the bar with a bunch of women in his face. But, it could be innocent. These could be women he already know. Like, it don't have to be nothing salacious. It is what it is. So, when they get ready to leave out, Marcel and Martell end up having a conversation in the parking lot before he's getting ready to leave. And Marcel lets Martell know, look, Melody told me that old girl's still calling you. And he was like, here she go again, telling people our business. We don't really need people in our business, and we don't really need people knowing what's going on. And here she go. And, once again, Marcel tries to have a conversation with Martell, like, why is this woman still calling you? Like, do you still have both phones? And he was like, nah, I don't have both phones. He said, well, why didn't you, change your number? Well, Melody did ask me to change my number, but, I just didn't do it. And he was like, okay, well, did you change it now? Nah. I ain't done it yet. How you ain't done it yet? It takes 5 minutes to change your phone number. You can either go into the local AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon store and get it changed, or you can call. Like, it is not that hard, Martell. If you really wanted to change that phone number, it would be changed. It would be done. You remember to do whatever else it is you want to do. You don't want to change that phone number because you want to keep the lines of communication open with this woman, period. Then, he once again was bringing it up to, Martell about the whole, narrative out there about the 20 girlfriends. And Martell still ain't backing down from it. Like, they had to, again, either they made a firm decision that they were going to push this 20 girlfriend narrative until it's screened, or they really know that Marceau has been out here doing some stuff Marceau ain't been supposed to been doing. You know what I'm saying? But basically, Martell is holding on to this 20 girlfriend narrative. Marceau is holding on to the fact that it ain't his narrative, and we are where we are, honey. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. This was a episode. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.